I'm a cyclist and I live in the Pennines, and welcome to my channel. And on today's ride we set off on a 40-mile loop because the weather wasn't looking very good. And so there was no cafe stop today. And as we approached Burnley and Rawtenstall, the weather became atrocious. So taking into consideration the weather, we decided to do the Burnley loop, which is around 40 miles, passing through the local towns of Littleborough, Todmorden, Burnley and Rawtenstall, to name but a few. And looking at the parkour, it's definitely undulating, with over 2,300 feet of vertical gain, and the wind today was a factor, because when you do a loop you're going to get a fantastic tailwind or a block headwind along the way. And so here we are pretty much around mile 0, passing through Small Bridge, and then very quickly we make our way through the village of Littleborough, and you can see a few more local cyclists doing a meet there. Next, very quickly with the tailwind, we made our way down the valley towards Walsden, with Todmorden in our sights. Here we are, just going over the bridge, over the canal. Just passing the Boardroom Cafe on the left there, which we've been to before. And we'll take a left next onto Burnley Road. And here's where the road starts to climb up around the Portsmouth area, and it actually catches you out there because it's quite steep. But we made some good progress as we headed towards the fantastic Cliviger Gorge. And if you can get through these lights without them going on red, you're a good one.
Okay, hello, I'm 18 miles into the ride. It's just started to rain. The guys are ahead with a wicked tailwind here. I nearly got 37 miles an hour along that section there, bridging the gap. I think we're going to be in the rain over the tops here. We're doing what we call the Burnley loop, which is around a 38-mile loop, I think. It might be 40 by the time we've finished. And it's set to change really badly, the weather, as the day goes on.
So let's go back and have a look at how we bridged the gap. The first thing that I've always got to take into account is the fact that I went ahead of the guys after the traffic lights to get this shot in here. Then all of a sudden I'm on the back foot and I'm way off the back. But that's all part of making these cycling films. Coming down here with this tailwind today was really fast. You can see there I'm not messing about. I was just shy of 37 miles per hour, but holding on to 35 miles per hour, it really is a nice feeling along there. And we've got a slight incline here. It's a bit of a leg burner, so we approached the pub called the Ram Inn. There's Mike just looking over his shoulder, and we're all back on again. I really enjoyed that section. And so next we're heading on towards Walk Mill and then past under the low bridge. And shortly after this is a stop called JJ's Diner, which is also a local training ride where people turn round and go back down the valley, through Todmorden and back in towards Littleborough and Rochdale. And this can be a nice 25-mile training ride through the dark winter nights. But in this case we kept on the A646 until we came to the big junction where we crossed the A671. And then Lee said, "Hey up, I think I've got a puncture."
Okay, we think we might have a mechanical or a puncture coming up here now. Oh, sorry, definitely a puncture. Front puncture for Lee there. I'm 20 miles into the ride. Leaves everywhere. It's looking pretty grim.
And it's always a good idea, if one of your mates has got a puncture, to help them out. So while Lee strips out his inner tube, I get his new tube slightly inflated, just to speed up the process, and I can also check his old tube for where the puncture was. And so having done a speedy repair, we carried on up the road where we were going to meet the A56 to take us into Rawtenstall. But looking at the hills above, it wasn't looking good at all.
Right, it's now officially raining. We're not far from the crossroads for the road that takes us in towards Rawtenstall and over Dunnockshaw. Oh, it's grim. mile. That were a tough climb, that.
Now coming down here towards Dunnockshaw and Cloudbridge, the heavens opened up and it's definitely character building. So what we did, we came down here taking goals and turns on the front. It wasn't quite a chain gang. I think it was whoever could get to the front, keep the pace going and hope for the best really. And there's the X43 coming by as well, which normally you'd be glad to get on the back of it, but we just couldn't do that today. So here we are now, this is Lee doing a stint on the front. Before that was Chris doing a stint. We've had Owen coming through, I'm coming through as well. And the moment that you get on the front, you really feel the wind hit you straight in the face. This was a blockhead wind, and it was hard work. Here we are now, just further on down the road, on the outskirts of Rawtenstall, and you can see where Chris has just got that gap there. So I'll come through, get past Chris, get in that gap, he can get on my wheel, but it was so hard work trying to get to Owen there. Owen's pushing a big gear there by the looks of it as well. But it was still absolutely tipping it down. And even holding speeds of 21 and 22 miles an hour downhill was a challenge on this section. And here we are in Rawtenstall town centre itself, with the traffic lights offering a little bit of a break.
Oh well, about 28 mile into the ride, I'm going to do the Albets climb, and these guys are going doing the Berry loop next as well. I've had enough now. Yeah. It's wet and windy and cold.
So here we are now, still on the A56, as we make our way towards Edenfield. And if you look carefully on the left, that's a cafe that we visited before, called the Drop Off Cafe. And at this point the guys are going to go right and follow the road into Bury. And at this stage of the ride, I thought I fancied the Albets climb as a nice route back, having cycled through Bury the night before. So the guys filtered off to the right here, and I made my way up into the murk and the mist.
Well, the guys have continued on down the main road into Bury. I've had enough of a bike ride now. I've done 6 days this week. So, I'm keeping the fitness up. I've now got to get up the climb of the Albets on the A680. This will be interesting.
Well, that was a really tough ride, and it is that time of year now where you've basically got to take the rough with the smooth. But if you like these videos, let me know and I'll make some more for you, and thank you for watching.
I don't think it's got daylight yet, and we're in tier 3. Wicked tailwind here. Nearly got 37, can't even speak, I nearly got 37 miles an hour.